back to another episode of Luisa's's Bookish Adventures. Today is all about the books I got for my birthday. I recently celebrated my 28th birthday last Thursday on the 18th, and I really wanted to do a video of all the books I accumulated during that week. Gotta say, it was a lot, and I think my TBR section of my shelf has been forever changed. I got 7 books just from my boyfriend, and then I think like 2 from another friend, and then, you know, I went to Barnes & Noble and used gift cards, so I definitely accumulated a lot. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we do though, I really want to just remind you to press the subscribe button on the bottom right corner of the video. I really would appreciate it. My goal is to get to 25 this year and 5 away from that. So, you know, subscribe, comment, and if you want to be notified when my next video comes up, press the notification bell. So now let's get into all the books I got. So the books that we're going to talk about first are the books I actually got for myself. I went to a used bookstore by where my friend lives, and I had a lot of fun there picking out books. The first book is Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's been my mission in life to find a really pretty copy, and I gotta say, I think I succeeded. It's this beautiful red and like the white design on top, and inside there's pictures. Let me find one with the picture. There's beautiful pictures on the inside, and I'm super excited that I've managed to find a beautiful copy. I love reading the Christmas Carol during Christmas time, and it was my dream to find a beautiful copy to read to like my future children, you know, during that time. So yes, definitely excited for this one. Next, I got a Treasury of Children's Literature. There isn't an author on this. Oh wait, yes there is. Well, it says Ariel H.M. Co. On the spine. I really love collecting fairy tales and books with stories like that to, I guess, read to my future kids again. So I've been looking for like ones that have the stories that I remember. I really want to find one with like all the Disney original stories, and I think I found 2 on eBay that I may purchase, just because it's been a dream of mine to have like fairy tales to read to them one day, you know, when I do have kids. But yeah, so I was really excited to find this as well in the used bookstore. Then I got this small book right here of Grimm fairy tales, and it also has cute little pictures on the inside with that. And I thought it's, you know, small, it looks kind of, you know, like it's been used, but it's just so beautiful and like classic looking, and I'm glad to like add it to my fairy tale kind of shelf maybe. I know Grimm fairy tales tend to be much darker than the Disney versions, but I still think that it's nice to have, and I like having an edition of all the classic fairy tales I grew up with. And then the last book that I got from the used bookstore is The Complete Illustrated Stories of Hans Christian Andersen. My favorite Disney princess is Ariel from The Little Mermaid, and so I really wanted to get, I guess, another version of that in this book. I always try to collect different versions of The Little Mermaid that I find, and I really wanted to get one, and I saw this full collection, so I thought it'd be a great addition as well, because he has all his fairy tales in here, and there's like really nice pictures as well, and I think it's just a beautiful addition. It even has like a mermaid in the front, which I love, because I think that's his most that's his most famous story. And yeah, so I can't wait to like keep adding, you know, different fairy tales, maybe from like different countries and cultures, into this kind of like collection of fairy tales I'm creating. Alright, so those are the books I got from the used bookstore. The two books I got from Barnes & Noble are We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. I used to know it, I just don't think I heard it very often since, but yes, it is the sequel to We Hunt the Flame. It's kind of like about a girl who disguises herself as a man to go into the forest to get food for her family, but there's also like a guy in the forest too, I think, who like wants to kill her or kill anyone that goes against the king, and they're like thrown together to this adventure. And this is the sequel. I have not read We Hunt the Flame yet, but it is on the list, and now that I have the sequel, I may pick it up sooner than I thought so that I can be caught up. I'm really trying to catch up on a lot of my series and things that I've bought before, so I'm excited to have the second one. It is bigger than I thought it would be. This first one isn't as large, but you know, that tends to happen where books just grow with each book in the series. And then I got Flamefall by Rosaria Munda. It is the sequel to Fireborn. I also have not read Fireborn. I actually was going to not DNF, but unhaul Fireborn, and then I changed my mind, and now it's funny that I have the sequel. I can't really entirely remember what it's about, but I know it involves dragons, and I think that's fun. I like dragons, and so I definitely decided to keep it, and now I have the sequel, so I probably should just, you know, read these two as well as soon as possible. This just came out, so I still have time in case there's like a third one to read both before the third one comes out. But yeah, so I'm really excited to add these to my TBR. Those are the books I bought myself. Now it's the books I got for my birthday. So the first one is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I'm excited to read this one. I finished the first 4, I believe, over quarantine, and I love them. And I finished Throne of Glass during quarantine too, and I fell in love with those two. And we just found out today, as I'm making this video, that they're gonna turn it into a Hulu TV show. So I'm super excited about that, and I must finish this book before that happens. It is massive. Like, look how big this is. I can't believe how big it is. But I was planning to wait until the paperback came out because all my other ones are paperback. I just couldn't, and this will definitely be the second book I plan to read in April during my spring break, which will be very busy. I mean, it's only 10 days, and I plan to read 2 massive books during those 10 days. So I may do a vlog, so, you know, if I do, look out for that. I think that will be fun. But yeah, this is one of the books I've been waiting for. The second book I got that's massive, and for my friend Christina, is A Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. It is the second book in the Last Hours trilogy. It involves the kids of Tessa and Will and like all of their friends from the Infernal Devices. I loved the first one. I read through that really quickly during quarantine as well, and so I'm super excited to continue. This will be the first book I read in April. Like I mean, I avoided as much as I possibly could, so I wouldn't spoil anything for myself. Like I avoided reading anything in the emails besides, you know, just the basic news and stuff like that, because I didn't want to spoil myself of anything that would be here. I mean, I know Prue's Project, Reagan from Prue's Project, she did a vlog. I didn't even watch that. I don't want to watch anything about vlogging from this book. I just want to experience the whole thing myself firsthand, and then I'll read and then I'll watch the vlogs, because I just don't want to be spoiled at all. I want all the emotions as I read this book. Those were the 2 books that my friend Christina got me. The book that my friend Karen got me was Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Is the sequel to From Blood and Ash. Actually, she told me she had trouble finding this. Like, it was in the romance section, which I guess it is romance, but it's kind of weird because like Jennifer L. Armentrout's books are usually in the YA fantasy section or just fantasy section. So to be in the romance is kind of bizarre, but I've heard great things about this series. I haven't read the first one yet, but the third one I know is coming out pretty soon, and I wanted to, you know, read it, and so I have like to catch up, obviously, but I'm really excited to read the series. I can't remember entirely what it's about, but I know it's all like I just heard a lot of people say how wonderful it is and how fast they went through it. I haven't read a lot of Jennifer L. Armentrout, so it's kind of like nervous about it, but you know, I am excited, and there's definitely like a supernatural vibe in there, that supernatural things happen, so I am excited to finally read it, and I'm actually excited that I don't know very much about it because I want to just go in cold. I feel like when I know too much, it's like I expect certain things to happen. And then they do, and I'm like, oh, well, I knew it. So I'm excited to go in without knowing too much. Those are all the books my friends got me. Now are the books my boyfriend got me, which are 7 books. That's a lot of reading. All right, so the first one is I, Robot by Asimov. This is a book that he actually picked out himself. I wanted him to pick out a book he thought I could read and like, because I read kind of the same genre all the time and I wanted something different. So this is the first in his series. Here are stories of robots gone mad, mind-reading robots, robots with a sense of humor, stories of robot politicians, and robots who secretly run the world, all told with a dramatic blend of science fact and science fiction that became Asimov's trademark. The 3 laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow human beings to come to harm. 2, a robot must obey orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And 3, a robot must protect his own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. So I think this is like possibly a collection of stories. Because it says here are stories of robots. With these simple directives, Isaac Asimov formulated the laws governing robots' behavior in I, Robot. He chronicles the development of the robot from its primitive origins in the present to its ultimate perfection in the not so distant future. So I guess it's just like about the creation of robots and its origin and how it came to be to like the not so distant future where now it's perfect and it, can technically take over the world. I know there's a movie with Will Smith, I believe, but I was told that the movie is nothing like the book, which almost is always the case. But I'm excited to try a new genre that I haven't really read a lot of. So yeah, super excited for this one. The next book he got me is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This involves 2 people, someone that works in an apothecary that creates potions for women that kind of need to get rid of the abusive men in their lives, and then a woman set further in the future, as in like 200 years later. And it's an aspiring historian, Caroline Percival, discovers an aged apothecary vial in the river Thames. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. As she is newly grappling with the searing betrayal of her husband's infidelity. So they the apothecaries, like the person who works in the apothecary and the future person 200 years later kind of collide in a sense where, she created the vial 200 years before, and now she's finding the vial 200 years later, and that's how they kind of collide. This book is actually kind of tiny. I thought it'd be larger for some reason, but just look at this cover though. It's beautiful, right? But I like the idea where it's like women doing things to help women in difficult situations, especially the women like 200 years before, because like laws were different. But I like the idea that women are banding together and like helping each other. So I'm really excited for this one. Next is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline. This is kind of like I think Native American inspired. It's about a girl named Donis Fontaine who's never quite fit in, both in her hometown and the nearby Ojibwe, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, reservation. So she decides to start fresh in college, but when tragedy strikes, her future's put on hold to look after her mother. Then she meets someone named Jamie, a charming new recruit on her brother's Levi's hockey team. But she senses that the hockey star is hiding something, and then like there's an investigation with the FBI and a new lethal drug. So it's definitely not the genre I usually read. It's not like supernatural or anything, but I've heard amazing things, and it's on Reese Witherspoon's White Book Club sticker right here. And I really like Reese Witherspoon, and I think her book suggestions are great. So it's definitely something I wanted to try, and I've seen it so many places, and I've just heard great things. So I'm really excited to try something new with this book right here. All right, so next is The Crowns of Crosswald, The Words of the Wandering by D.E. Knight. I actually have the first two. I got the first two at BookCon a long time ago at 2019, and they were both signed. And I really wanted the third one, so I asked for it. I actually don't even remember what it's about. It's so long ago, and it's been on my TBR for a long time. But I do plan to read it this summer. And I remember saying like, oh, you know, first one was signed, and like now I finally get the third one, and then I open it, and it's also signed. I was like, what? So I'm super excited. I actually want to maybe talk about it a little more, so I'm gonna get the first one. So this is the first one, and it's for 16 years, Ivy Lovely has been hidden behind an enchanted boundary that separates the mundane from the magical. When Ivy crosses the border, her powers awaken. Curiosity leads her crashing through a series of adventures at the halls of Ivy, a school where students learn to master their magical blood and the power Cogswall's mysterious gems. When Ivy's magic and her life is threatened by the Dark Queen, she scrambles to unearth her history and save Cogswall before the truth is swept away forever. I love stories where it's like people going to schools about magic and learning about who they are. I just think they're so fun. And you know, Harry Potter, it's like, I love Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter the books. I just want to clarify that I love the books. I don't support what the author's been saying or writing in the past couple years, but Harry Potter has been a big part of my life, and I kind of want it to stay there. Yeah, so I keep looking for books that takes place in schools, like Legendborn and stuff like that. So I thought it was really interesting, and these are also signed again. And so the fact that the third one's signed, it's like, hey, it's signed. Like, they're all signed. I'm just so excited to have all three. The second one's on my shelf right now. So, but yeah, really excited for that one. The next book is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Broniczek. I saw this online and thought it sounded really amazing. It is about Angeborda's story begins where most witches' tales ends, with a burning punishment from Odin for refusing to provide him with knowledge of the future. And then she kind of flees since she's been punished, and she meets someone named Loki, and they kind of fall in love, and then they have children, and now she has to decide, should I tell Odin about my magical children or keep them safe and away from him? I think, you know, I really like stories that are very women focused. I think they're fun to read, and I think this one's really interesting because, you know, she has to decide between keeping her children safe or telling Odin about what they can do and, you know, kind of save the kingdom or the world that it's in with the ability to see the future. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Heard wonderful things. It was on my 21 most anticipated books for 2021. So I'm really glad to have it on my shelf. We're almost done. The next book I got is called Romanov by Nadine Brandis. I follow her on Instagram, and I love learning about Russian history, and I like the Romanov family. You know, I saw Anastasia on Broadway. I have the movie, even though it's not entirely historically accurate. But so I find the history interesting, like everything that led up to it and their lives. So I think a book kind of based on that is just like right up my alley. Anastasia Romanov was given a single mission to smuggle an ancient spell into her suitcase on the way to exile in Siberia. It might be her family's only salvation, but the leader of the Bolshevik army is after them, and he's hunted Romanov before. Nastasia's only chances of saving herself and her family are either to release the spell and deal with the consequences, or to enlist help from Sash, the handsome soldier who doesn't act like the average Bolshevik. So yeah, like I find it super interesting. I've never read anything by her, but I follow her, and the way she, like when she talks about writing, I find it very interesting, and like I like her vibe, you know, and I like the advice she gives about writing, and so I'm really excited to finally read one of her books, and I know she's kind of like working on something too, so maybe I'll even get that one too, but I'm excited. And if I like it, maybe I'll get Fox, because I know she's written another book, and like a trilogy as well. But I'm so happy to have this on my shelf, but because I've been waiting to get it, but I never really see it in Barnes and Noble, so I'm happy that I got it for my birthday. Last but not least, my God, all the books. The last book I got is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. This is about a girl named Eva, a princess born with the magic of blood and marrow, a dark and terrible magic that has been seen for generations. Its last known practitioner was Queen Rhaena, who used her power to massacre thousands, including her own sister, thus beginning the rival heir tradition. Living in Rhaena's long and dark shadow, Ava must now face her older sister, Issa, on her 17th name day in a battle to the death if she hopes to ascend to the Ivory Throne, because in the Queendom of Mire, only the strongest, most ruthless ruler survives. Eva doesn't understand her own power, let alone how to use it, but when an assassin makes an attempt on her life and the fight with her sister looms ever closer, Eva finally turns to a powerful Fae instructor and a mysterious and handsome prince for helping growing her magic into something to fear. But because despite the love she still has for her sister, Eva will have to choose Issa's life or her own. This is the first installment of a series, duology. It's the first installment of duology. The sequel is called A Queen of Gilded Horns. I saw the sequel come out, and it sounded like, then I read about the first one, it sounded really interesting to me, and I thought, why not? I mean, I love the cover, and I really like the synopsis. Yes, so it sounded interesting to me, so I thought I'd put it on my shelf. I was gonna buy the sequel, but it's still in hardcover, obviously, because it just came out, so I may wait for the paperback, but yeah, I'm excited about, like, you know, kingdoms and fighting for the throne. Those are always fun, you know. But yes, I'm super excited to have this on my shelf. I cannot wait to read it at some point in my life, considering all the books that are now on my TBR shelf. But yeah, so this is the last one. So those are all the books I got for my birthday, ones that I bought for myself and ones that I got from the people in my life. Yeah, it was a great birthday. Lots of gifts. Lots and lots of books. But I hope you like this video. Once again, please subscribe, comment. I really appreciate it. I will probably do a vlog over spring break, which is starts next week. I'll have 10 days, and in those 10 days, I will read Chain of Iron and A Court of Silver Flames. Wish me luck. That's a lot of reading, but I won't have much to do considering I won't have work. So, because I'm a teacher, so it'll be my time off for that time being. But yeah, I hope you like this video. I will see you next week with another video. Bye.